The film that's playing tonight is The Divorce. Road trip movie about a guy who's getting divorced, and his friends decide he needs to go on a boys' trip out of town. So they decide to go from St. John to Fredericton to try and get his mind off things, and they don't quite make it to Fredericton. Well, I've done two, Calling, which I was assistant director on, but I wrote, and then this one, which I've written and directed, and I was the first AD on Al Rivers. But The Divorce is my favorite movie because it took 100 people who were volunteers to make it. We shot all over southern New Brunswick, and the experience is something I will take with me forever. All told, we probably shot about 30 days from St. George, Quispamsis, all over southern New Brunswick, St. John, and it was over 100 people that were cast and crew. It was me being stupid and buying all the equipment myself over a couple of years, and it was completely self-financed. We had a couple key characters that were hard because they had to be a very specific personality type. Mm-hmm. But once I figured out who I knew could pull them off and had a conversation, it was easy after that. But there were two characters that we did struggle with a little bit. Well, the way I do auditions is I don't give the script ahead of time for auditions. Mm-hmm. So I ask an actor to come in with something they've prepared, and then when they're done, I hand them the script and say, okay, now let's audition. And the reason I do that is because I want to see how they interpret what I've written cold. And if they can do something, even if it's not what I had in my mind when I wrote it, but if they can perform something, then you know that once they have time, they're going to deliver something pretty great. And that's what I look for. I got into film because of my family. My son was born with a lot of health problems. He had 23 surgeries, was flown all over the place. And I was working at a call center at the time, hated it. And it was just one of those situations where, film was always my escape. We need to stop. But what I would say to someone who wants to be a filmmaker is if you're passionate about it, the first thing you need to do is believe in yourself, find your inspiration, and surround yourself with yes you can people. If you talk to people and they're like, why would you want to do that? No, don't even include them. You find the people who say, yeah, sure, let's do it. And then with all that help, with all those people on board, you'll have no problems. I guess the business aspect, but more so the scheduling. I hate the scheduling. It was a nightmare, so I let other people deal with it because I can't do it. What do I enjoy most? Working with people. I just love seeing people's interpretation of what we've written or what I've written and performing, and then being like, that was amazing. You see something that's better than what you had in your mind. It's a feeling you have to experience to understand. There's always lessons learned. You have to make sure that your schedule is locked down. You know exactly what you want when you get on set, so you're not wasting time. And the biggest thing is to make sure that your crew and your actors are always happy. The most important job a director has is to be the biggest cheerleader on set and make sure everyone is happy and excited about the project. And that was the biggest takeaway from this one. We had one issue where we were supposed to film at a location, and we had no money to pay these people. And they said, yeah, we're on board. And the day before the shoot happened, they said, okay, now you got to give us some money. So I rewrote the scene. It's a much better scene. And I even got a little dig in there at them. So that was probably the only thing where we were really scrambling the day before on what we had to do.
Okay.
Nope, no regrets. There's 100 things I could have done differently, but I don't have a single regret about them.